Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and some of the people associated with those cases, and I'm calling this video Telling on Themselves from the Subconscious Mind of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. I believe that even when you're talking about something as banal as going to the store, the word choice you use is driven by your unconscious mind. You could say, I went to the store to inform somebody that was what you did. But if you say, I ran to the store, or, about killed me, but I made it to the store, your subconscious mind is feeding your tongue and your brain with certain words and certain verbs that let the viewer know what you're really thinking. So what we're going to do in this video is just take a brief look at some of the statements made by the different players and focus on some of the words and some of the choices that they made. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. I don't have a psychology degree. I'm just someone here speculating. So this video is my opinion. It's speculation. Okay? So with that out of the way, let's get into it. On September 9th, 2019, Chad Daybell texted Tammy Daybell, and this was the day that Tylee Ryan was allegedly buried on Chad Daybell's property. And in theory, in my opinion, Chad was using this text to his wife as an alibi and to explain maybe any sounds or any commotion that was going on in the area. And this is the text that he sent to his wife. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. All right, so let's just look. Now, I've talked in different videos about what some of these statements are saying directly, what you can just read between the lines to determine what, in my opinion, was Chad's motive was on this. But let's just look at some of the word choices and also know that Chad's an author. So he, in theory, would have a whole range, a whole cornucopia, a whole plethora of words to choose from to tell this story. And I also want to add that Chad's subconscious mind tells on him much more than Lori. Chad's subconscious is right there, simmering at the surface and giving you the truth. Here's some words that stood out to me: burn, limb, hurried, morning, fire pit, close enough, trick, now in our pet cemetery. So let's go through those again. Now, if a psychic was to tell you these words and you said, where are the kids? And someone gave you that, you would go, oh my God. That is telling, in my opinion. He's telling on himself. Burn, limb, hurried, morning, fire pit, close enough, trick, now in our pet cemetery. That's crazy. All right, let's move on to the second statement that we're going to look at. Lori Vallow's testimony to the members of the 144,000. Allegedly, this was an audio that was recorded by Melanie Gibb. It was released by Annie Cushing. And I'm going to talk about the section wherein Lori Vallow is allegedly talking about her ex-husband, Joe Ryan. And the direct comments that she made are damning enough. All right? And I've discussed those in another video, so feel free to watch that. It's the video about the released call. It's one of the last videos I did on this case. So let's go through this. I might have a few words off because I transcribed this. So this is Lori talking. This is her direct. There was a turning point in my life that turned me to the temple. ... I took some crap out. My change of heart was to the temple. I had been married to someone who was very awful, who my children. I had divorced him and gotten away from him, and he had joined the church. He spoke at state conference. Everyone thought he was wonderful. He was a good showman. After we divorced, he told everyone that I was this lying, crazy Mormon, and got up in court and said all these horrible things about me and turned it around to where the judge believed him instead of me. And he was constantly trying to get custody of my 3-year-old daughter, just to rub it in my face. I went through a lot of years of this kind of hard stuff, and I was going to murder him. I was going to kill him, like the scriptures say. I would go to the scripture just to stop the pain, just to stop him coming after me and coming after my children. And I was just, I couldn't take it anymore. If he comes against you once, so she's going through the scripture, if he comes against you once, if he comes against you twice, if he comes against you 3 times, you can kill him. It's there. It says it in the scriptures. There it is. There is my answer. I did not have a murderous heart. You need to go to the temple. So someone told her she needed to go to the temple. And so I met the bishop, and you're either gonna, she says, she's either gonna turn your life to the temple or I'm gonna commit murder. And I was perfectly honest, because at that point I had nothing to lose. So that was Lori's direct statement to the group of people. And let's look at what, I'm going to continue this, sorry. The court told me that if I didn't take, essentially, Tylee and drop her off with Joe, I had to take my sweet baby girl and drop her off with this monster. I felt like someone was stabbing me in the stomach with a knife. I felt physical pain, and then she goes on to talking about dealing with a husband and dealing with kids, some kind of distancing. All right, so that was part of that section where she's testifying to this group. So let's look at some of these words. I'm specifying this in the sense of when she's talking about a specific issue, she's talking about her issues with Joe, okay? So I'm not talking about all her people she got into the temple and all that. I'm just focusing it on to where her mind is thinking about her drama with Joe and wanting to kill him. And then talking about how she had to drop Tylee off with Joe. So that's what her mind is thinking about. And these are the words that are coming out. And I'm going to speculate what her subconscious is bringing forth. Talking about Joe Ryan. She's talking about turning point, change, awful, gotten away, showman, lying, crazy, horrible. I was going to murder him. Going to kill him. Stop paying. Could not take it. You can kill him. My answer. Scriptures. Murderous heart. I'm going to commit murder. Perfectly honest. Nothing to lose. Jail. Monster. Stabbing. With a knife. Dealing with husband. Dealing with children. Maybe her subconscious is more victim mentality than Chad's very direct subconscious, in my opinion. But that's pretty meaty, huh? Okay, let's move on to the third statement. This is Lori Vallow Daybell. She's married to Chad at this point. She calls him from jail, and the call is during the time that the police are searching the Daybell property. And Lori in this reveals nothing worth noting on direct. Also, if you want to listen to this, I've transcribed it in my video section. So I'm not going to read through that whole thing because it's basically her going, hey babe, how's it going? And Chad is explaining that they're searching the property. But these are the words he chooses to use. Instead of, sometimes when you could just say yes to something or no to something, he would say, I did. Word choice is important. It's very important to your subconscious. So here's some of the words that Chad uses while the police are searching his property. Searching, evidence, out, property, searching, search warrant, evidence, kids, setup, transpires, I did. Transpires, that's what I always found that one interesting. We'll see what transpires. There's a certain word choice that people use, especially in my opinion, if they know they're guilty. The next statement we're going to talk about Melanie Gibbs' interview with Nate Eaton for East Idaho News. This happened on May 31st, 2020. And I'm just selecting the part where Melanie Gibb is talking about that Thursday through Monday when she went and stayed with Lori. And Tylee was already missing at this point. JJ was there. And Lori allegedly didn't even speak of Tylee to Melanie. So this is where Nate is asking Melanie Gibb questions. And Melanie Gibb is answering the questions. So I'm just focusing it into where her mind is making a thought about her last sightings of JJ and the things having to do with JJ. Okay, so 35 minutes and 22 seconds into that video, this is what Melanie said directly. As I arrived on the Thursday, she had said that he had turned into a zombie that day, the day before I got there. And she was pointing out behaviors of his like, look how he's doing this, that's unusual. Or look how he's doing that. And she was trying to create uncertainty in me about what I saw his behavior, doubt. And I was looking at him and I thought, well, I don't know. He kind of looks like JJ to me. You know, hyper and angry one minute and kind of chill or crying the next minute. I go on. And she just gave me a few scenarios of different things he would say that sounded unusual. I didn't hear him say it. And then Nate Eaton, while we're still in this train of thought, asks, did it worry you when Charles became a zombie? And Melanie says, I didn't think she'd do that, implying that since Charles was a zombie, and we know what happens to zombies, once she said that JJ was a zombie's logic dictates that now he's going to die too. So this is Melanie's response to that. I didn't think she'd do that. That's your boy. She goes, well, it's time for JJ. He's in the way of our mission. We need to send him to Kay's house. And then she goes on talking about the details of that. That was the plan I knew of. He's going to Kay's house. She told me that. She told me he went to Kay's house and everything changed. So let's look at that. She's in her mind being asked questions specifically about JJ, seeing JJ, that kind of stuff. And this is what the word choice Melanie is using, answering those questions. Arrived, turned, zombie, pointing, behaviors, unusual, look, create, uncertainty, what I saw, doubt, looking at him, I don't know, looks like JJ, scenarios, a few scenarios, unusual, I didn't hear, it's time, in the way of our mission, the plan. So, I don't really know. I think that if I was to take even what her subconscious is saying, that maybe she felt like there were a few, she uses the word scenarios. It kind of inappropriately in the question. A few scenarios of where JJ could go. Isn't it like an option? A scenario, I don't know, that word choice. And she does use the word we quite a bit. Like, why would she factor in the choice of where JJ would go? But by that same token, some of these other words that she uses are sort of words, sort of language that she didn't have knowledge. I didn't hear. I don't know. Uncertainty. So I'm like, kind of like trying to make it look a certain way. Now, granted, I don't know if this is in retrospect, she feels tricked and feels like maybe they were trying to make her a scapegoat. I'm really not sure. But she doesn't seem to have as deceptive, in my opinion, language in her subconscious. But she does seem to be aware of scenarios and plans. So that's what I got out of that. I also tried to find the part where Nate asks her about seeing JJ the last time, and that Alex was laying in his arms with his head on the shoulder, and there's always, and granted that could have been exactly what she saw, but the word, you know, Alex and head and things like that, it's like, ooh, what did she see? You know, you just don't know. So the subconscious tells on us. I really think that it's a big tattletale, along with our body language, our words, and the way we write. It's just a very small portion of what we reveal when we're trying to communicate. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything else you would like me to look at, or anybody else in this case, I'll be more than happy to do so. Again, this is just my opinion. This is just speculation, and that's all it is. So I hope you have an excellent day. I hope you're surviving this pandemic. It has been quite trying and difficult. So be good, be safe, take care. Bye.